addition to sending your document to a printer as an InDesign file, it's also a good idea to send it to them as a PDF. PDFs give them the ability to view your document regardless if they've had InDesign or the appropriate software. To make a PDF in InDesign, you can go to File and down to Export to create the PDF. From here, you can keep the original name and change your format to be a print Adobe PDF. When you hit Save, a second dialog box is going to open up that'll give you a lot of different options. The easiest way to save it in a format that can be printed high quality is to choose the Adobe PDF preset. Choose High Quality Print. When you do this, this is going to automatically choose the correct compression, your bleeds, your output, everything you need to get a good high quality print. Also, you can do things like turn on and view the PDF after exporting. Having this checked on and everything else remaining the same, you can choose Export. You can view the progress up here at the very top, and once that bar has stopped spinning, you can see it'll automatically open up your viewer in Adobe Acrobat if you have Acrobat already saved. From here, we can close out this document. Let's go back to InDesign. Now, sometimes we need to create a PDF that's appropriate to go into press. A press quality PDF is the highest standards that you can do to send to a printer. That also includes your bleeds, bleed marks, and any other information. In order to define and create a pre-press PDF, one more time, let's go up to File, down to Adobe PDF Presets, and let's define our own preset. In our case, we're going to choose a Press Quality preset, and we're going to choose New. And let's give it the name Press Quality with Bleed. With this done, we can define our press presets however we want. Especially if we go to Marks and Bleeds, we can turn on our crop marks. We can set and define the offset. In this case, our offset needs to be 0.125. And we can set our bleed settings to be 0.125. And clicking the link will place it in all of the extra areas as well too. With this done, we can say OK. And this will define our new bleed settings. We can say Done. And to use this, now all we have to do is to go to File, down to Adobe PDF Presets, and you can see we've got a Press Quality with Bleed already set up. From here, let's do a Press Highest Quality. We'll hit Save. From here, you can see the preset has already been set. Again, we'll view the PDF after exporting, and we'll say OK to this and export to this. Now when it opens up, check out our PDF. It's got the bleed settings on each side ready to go, and it's a high quality image. Additionally, since this is using higher quality images, the file size for this is going to be a little bit larger. Let's close this out and return to InDesign. Now sometimes you may want to actually share this preset with others so that they can also save their files in a format that others can use. This is especially useful if you are a printer or working with a printer. Sometimes they can give you these kind of files. So to share a preset, go to File, down to Adobe PDF Presets one more time, and Define. From here, let's choose our Press Quality with Bleed, and let's do Save As. This is going to give you the option to give it a name, and so let's call this one PDF High Res Print. I've got less than 13 folders selected and hit Save. And that'll generate a high-res print job options, and that's what you'll send to others to be able to use. Notice that in the less than 13 folder, they give you a proof facing pages job options. If you want to import an existing one from the Adobe PDF presets, you can choose Load, and you can locate the proof facing pages job options from here. When we say open, this will add the preset to your list. We can say done. Now to export that one, we can go to File, down to Presets, and let's choose Proof Facing Pages. Once again, we'll select it. Let's call this Proof Facing Pages and say Save. Now when we hit Export, once again, it'll open up in this one, and you can see both of these have the pages facing each other side by side instead of one page at a time. So far, everything we've done has been good for saving your print to go to a press. But what do you want to do if you actually want to send this to a physical printer? In order to do this, let's go to File and down to Print. Now, if you've worked with print dialog boxes before, a lot of this is going to look familiar. What we would like to do is to save a preset for your printer so that whatever you print will automatically choose whatever options that you have. And you can see there's a lot of options. First off, if you've printed on a printer before and it's installed on your computer, you can choose whichever printer that you want from the drop-down list. Now yours may be slightly different from what I have, but for the most part, this will be exactly the same. In our case, I'm just going to choose any random printer. We can set the page size by going to General, and you can see we can print all pages. Under the Setup is where we can choose our page size. In this case, let's choose US letter, which will be an 8.5 by 11. We want to print this in normal orientation, and let's have it scale to fit. This will automatically scale everything down so that it fits nicely inside a little preview area. If we want to have marks and bleeds included on our page, we can turn that on here. We can tell it to turn on our crop marks. We can define the amount of offset those crop marks will be. So in this case, we'll do it as 0.125. And we can use our bleed and slud settings to set to the document's automatic size, in this case, 1/8 of an inch. Sometimes you may also want to print some other information about your page, so we'll turn on page information, and that'll be printed at the bottom of our page. Under the output settings, this gives you the ability to tell your printer how to handle the colors. Now, for the most part, if you've got a color printer, you'll choose Composite CMYK. This will convert any colors that you're using, including RGB colors, to the CMYK values. If you've got a single grayscale black and white printer, you can choose Composite Gray, and it'll convert all of the colors to just black and white and shades of gray. I'm going to keep mine Composite Gray for now. If you click on the Graphics menu, being able to optimize these settings will greatly speed up the speed of your print. For your images, if you tell it to optimize subsampling, this will take your high resolution graphics and only send over the necessary information. It's going to compress it down and make it print a lot faster rather than printing a high quality image. Under the fonts, instead of sending the entire complete font to a printer, you can choose Subset. This will only send over the characters that you're using in your file and not the entire font. And this will also greatly increase the speed of your print production. Other things like color management and the advanced settings can also do some other simple stuff to greatly increase your printing options. Now, instead of automatically having to choose these every time, we can save this as a print preset. Down at the very bottom, choose Save Presets. And let's call this the Proof Fit to Page. And we'll say OK. Now, the next time I go to print something and I need a proof page of it, I can simply choose that from the very top and it's automatically saved from here. Now, since I'm not connected to a printer and I really don't want to print it, I'm simply going to hit Cancel for now, and that will not send it to the printer, but it will save my preset. Now, since we're printing a Facing Pages booklet, we want to be able to send this to the printer so that it's in correct paginated order. These type of pages don't just simply print page 1, 2, 3, and 4 in order. Instead, they'll be printed what seems to be out of order, so that when they're folded and collated together, it'll read like a normal book. Here's how we can preview this and show it what the printer needs. If we go to File, down towards the very bottom, choose Print Booklet. Now from here, we can click on the print settings in the bottom, and let's make sure we're printing on a horizontal page. Go to Setup, and you can see that horizontal is selected, and that's what we want. We'll say OK. Now the type of book we're going to be doing is known as a 2-up saddle stitch. This simply means there's going to be one on each side, 2 pages, 2-up pages. Saddle stitch means it's going to be stitched or stapled in the middle. Everything else will be exactly the same. When we click on Preview, this will give you an idea of how the pages will look side by side. You can go through each individual page and see the numbers and how they correspond with each other. Now, if all looks good, you can send this to the printer and have it actually printed out as a booklet. In our case, we're going to hit Cancel because we don't really want to print it. Now, another way to quickly collect all of the information it takes to create this document is to create a package file. Package files will go through and collect all of the images, fonts, and PDFs and anything that's necessary to send to a printer without having you actually put everything in a folder. To create a package file, go up to File and choose Package. Now this first dialog box is going to show you all of the stuff that it's going to be collecting. A quick summary, and if there's any problems or issues with these. For instance, you can see there's 2 RGB color space images that are on here, and that's okay for what we're doing. It'll also show you the fonts, images, color and inks, and all the full summary from here. With this, let's choose the word package, and if it asks you to save, we can hit save, and it's going to create its own individual folder. Make sure it's being saved into Lesson 13 folder. Again, this will give you the option to choose what you want to copy through. So in this case, we want to collect any fonts and our graphics. We want to include an IDML, which is an older version of InDesign. We can even include a PDF and what kind of PDF we want it to be. In our case, let's do a high quality print PDF. When you choose Package, it's going to give you a warning about your fonts, asking that to make sure you have the copyrights to be able to copy your fonts. We'll say OK to this, and it's going to create this package folder. Now you should be able to go to your Lesson 13 folder, and here's the folder that we've created. Notice that when you open it up, you've got a nice PDF and an InDesign file. If you open up the fonts, these are all the fonts that have been used. And the links panel uses all of the pictures and graphics that are inside of this file. This folder is what you can now send to your printer so that they get everything and it's nice and workable. Now going back into InDesign, let's scroll down to page 5 and go view these 2 different graphics. Both of these graphics we want to be able to save as individual images that can be used in other graphics. In other words, we want to save these as JPEGs or even PNGs. Let's select the red one on the right and save it as a web-safe PNG. With it selected, go to File and down to Export. We'll give it the name of tomatoes, peas, and carrots. There we go, red. Make sure you're saving in Lesson 13 and set your format to be a PNG. When you hit Save, we don't want to save the entire page, we just want to save the selection because we have this one selected. You can choose the quality of this image. We're going to set it to be maximum quality with a resolution of 150 and a color space of RGB. Additionally, we can turn on a transparent background so that it's nice and visible instead of having a white background. From here, let's do Export. And this will save a PNG to our Lesson 13 file. Here it is here. Now this method works well for doing one image at a time, but what if you wanted to do multiple images, like these 4 on page 4? Let's click and drag over all 4 of these to have all 4 of them selected. And we're going to leverage the ability to create a web page HTML and export just the images with that. Now we don't need to know any coding to do this. Instead, let's go to Window and open up the Articles panel. We want to add all 4 of these images by clicking on them and dragging them into this area. And when you let go, it's going to ask you to give it a name. Let's just call it Flowers and say OK. Notice that all of these flowers are now saved under the Flowers subhead, and it's treating it in this case as if they're all grouped inside of the same article. Now to export these, let's go to File, down to Export. We're going to give it the file name of flowers-4 web. Under the format, choose HTML Legacy. Now when you click Save, under the General option, we want it to be the same as the Articles panel. In other words, we only want to save whatever is inside of this article. From here, we can choose our image and optimize the quality however we see fit. In our case, we're going to keep it optimized at a 150 resolution, and we're going to change the image conversion to be a PNG. We'll say OK to this, and you can see how it automatically creates a web page with each one of these. Now this web page is generated automatically. We don't necessarily need it. However, we can go back to our folder and we can see there's now a folder of web resources for that HTML file. All of these can be found in the Images folder, and you can see how they're quickly and easily saved exactly where we want them to be as PNGs. So it's a great simple way of automatically converting all of these to one file format. Now the final thing we're going to do for this exercise is to export a document in different file formats and sizes for social media. Going back to our Lesson 13 folder, there should be another folder for social media posts. If we open up this InDesign document, 13 Social, we can tell it to update the modified links. Going to the Pages panel, I'm going to close out my articles. You can see that there are different alternate page layouts for Facebook, for a printer, Instagram, all different sizes and different proportions. We want to export each one of these as their own separate file format. To export them, let's go back up to File, down to Export. We're going to call this the Workshop. Make sure it's in Lesson 13. Set the format to be JPEG and hit Save. In our case, we're going to do all of the pages, and we really don't matter if it's pages or spreads, but we can choose pages individually. Now, since we want to distinguish each one of these as being a different page, we can do that through the suffix. In our case, maybe we want to add the page number, which will automatically add that there, and also add the page size, which will give us an indication of what the size will be from here. We can set our quality to be maximum with a baseline format. Let's bring down the resolution to 72 and keep the color space at RGB. Additionally, we can use the same color profile, and let's simulate overprinting. When we choose Export, this will automatically save each one of those now to the folder that we had selected. There should be now 4 different images, all different sizes based on their page size. Check out the name of them as well. Now that we're done, here's how I want you to turn everything in. We've created a lot of different stuff today. One of the things we created was this package file. So the package file for the press, this one here, 13 press folder. Let's put all of your other stuff inside of this 13 press folder. So let's put our high-res proof job options into there. Our Flowers for Web Resources folder can go in there. All 4 of our social media posts, our PNG for the tomatoes, as well as our highest quality PDF for this one. With all of those in here, let's compress this into a zip file. If you're on a Mac, you can right-click on it and choose Compress. If you're on a Windows, you can also tell it to compress, usually at the top. This zip folder is what you're going to upload to the Canvas page for this book exercise credit.